If this British racing green GR Corolla looks familiar to you, it's probably because you've seen it previously on YouTube. This was actually owned by Jack from the SavageGeese's YouTube channel, and if you're watching this channel, you're probably very familiar with them. It was sold about a year ago to the new owner, Chris, who has actually added a few additional mods, but the reason he wanted Jack's GR Corolla in particular was because Jack and the various suppliers that he worked with addressed all the main limitations of the GR Corolla, things like the overheating of the engine, the center diff, all that stuff, and it drives a lot better now, or at least so I'm told, but we'll test that out shortly. We're powered by a 1.6 liter turbocharged inline 3, that's the G16E GTS engine, making 300 horsepower at 6,500 RPM and 273 pound-feet of torque, made it to a 6-speed manual only for the 2023 model year. But as you guys might know, in the 25 model year, they now offer a automatic transmission as well, which we have reviewed previously on the channel, linked below. We of course have Toyota's GR4 system, which has selectable torque split between 60/40 front to rear by default, 50/50 in track mode, and then 30/70 front to rear as well. And with the Circuit Edition, you got the front and rear Torsen LSD standard. We have strut front suspension, multi-link in the rear, weighing in right around 3,300 pounds. Now, extensive mod list, as always, the full mod list is down in the description. We got this massive Eventuri Intake, oil cooler, all-wheel drive controller, an Ecutek 93 tune. It's currently on 92, because based on the logs, it was actually pulling back timing to keep the knock levels within factory spec. Transfer case cooler, a lot of suspension mods, including MCS one-way non-remote dampers with Swift springs, 8K front and 10K rear. AP Racing big brake kit. We have CSG brake pads, C1s in the front and CPs in the rear. Apex SM10 RS wheels, 18x10, wrapped in Bridgestone Potenza race tires, a 265 square setup. The camber was initially -3.5 in the front, -2.5 in the rear, but the owner, Chris, has now changed it to -3 in the front and -2 in the rear. And Chris actually changed the front brake pads to also be CP. He is tracking this vehicle. I gotta say, the green on bronze looks really good. We have a few different drive modes here. We're just gonna go into sport. It only controls your throttle response and your steering, really. And then for torque mode, we're gonna go into track. So it's a 50/50 front to rear torque split. Wow, right off the bat, you can feel this is not a regular GR Corolla. We have a bit more power. The front end is definitely more responsive and a bit sharper. Better steering feedback as well. Lots of turbo lag, actually, even when we're past the boost threshold. Gotta be pretty aggressive with your blips to rev match this appropriately. Not optimal pedal spacing. A bit of a learning curve here with heel toe, but you do have the IMT system if you want your auto rev match. You see, as we're going from second to third there, shifting your red line, still a bunch of lag as we get on the throttle in third gear. On top of the turbo lag, there's also still a bit of rev hang despite the tune. This is already feeling a bit more, it's still very planted, very stable. That has been the Corolla philosophy. Toyota, of course, having 3 sports cars, the GR Supra, which is made with BMW, the GR86, which is made with Subaru and their BRZ, and this is the one that is truly just Toyota through and through, and they wanted to optimize for stability. This one actually has the longest wheelbase out of those 3, which you wouldn't expect, right? Looking at them, this doesn't seem like this would be the longest wheelbase, but it actually is. And we're gonna go into 30/70. Let's give you a pull. Driving it in track and 30/70 mode, I'm occasionally getting just a hint of push at the front, but less than stock examples. That's just a limitation of this front-wheel drive based all-wheel drive system. Yep, even near 5,000 RPM, getting a good amount of lag. That is gonna happen when you start tuning for more power in very small displacement engines. Here we only have 1.6 liters, and it's a trade-off. You're not going to have razor sharp throttle response and no lag when you're pushing additional power. Now these engines, they tend to float the valves if you start pushing more than, I think, 400 horsepower or high 300s, again, to the wheels. So it's more top end limited rather than the bottom end of the engine. Turning traction off. This does feel a bit more dynamic than the stock GR. That's nice. Getting a little bit of rotation, not enough to actually need a countershift, but the earliest hint of rotation, manhandling it and throwing it about a little bit, that's something you don't really get in a stock GR. That's excellent. The owner was telling me that on track as well, we're going to be pushing it harder. You can actually get a good amount more rotation with trail braking, which is not the case with the stock examples. Suspension here is a big upgrade. I think the stock suspension for the GR Corolla never really felt appropriate with the price. It felt a little bit too crashy, didn't have great body control. The damping quality just wasn't quite there. This is definitely a big step up. The front end feels noticeably sharper with the suspension improvements. The only critique I have is that the rear feels like it might be bottoming out over some of these larger bumps. We have less harshness on that initial impact. It is a bit firmer, but it's not more punishing. And we have much better body control as well. Now the unfortunate thing with the all-wheel drive system, at least my understanding, is that it is only sending power to the rear as needed, rather than continuously. And in the unmodified examples, you would have a lot of issues with that actual center diff overheating on track. Again, with the mods here, it looks like they've addressed that. And a lot of the inputs actually feel quite a bit better. Like this shifter, maybe it's the weighted shift knob, but it's not just the performance envelope being improved, making more power, having much better suspension, improving the ride quality and the body control. But even the inputs feel better. Let me give you one more pull. Still a quiet engine, but a good bit more potent. And the car needed that, especially with its factory power to weight. Making 300 horsepower, but weighing a bit over 3,000 pounds. I like the solidity to the brakes. I like that the steering has been woken up with these mods. Still not great feel, but it's better than stock, and it's more direct, more immediate, a bit sharper. Suspension is going to help you with that as well. Now the shifter, I guess, is stock, or maybe it has like a short shift kit from TRD, or maybe it has some factory short shift kit or heavier shift knob, because it feels a little bit slicker, a little bit less of that super light notchy feeling that I recall from previous GR Corollas. But I gotta say, I'm impressed. I mean, this is what happens when you take a GR Corolla and put really intentional high quality mods into it. It's going to drive substantially better. It'll have both a higher performance ceiling as well as better inputs and just a greater sense of confidence as you're driving it. All in, this is about $20,000 in mods. The owner actually bought this for about $50K, so a $10K premium over a stock one. And I think that was right around 10,000 miles. And at that price point, you're now making a much more convincing argument against something like the other competitors in the market, things like the Integra Type S, Civic Type R, Golf R, as long as you can get around things like the interior and you want to prioritize that all-wheel drive, that rally car feel. Jack did a great job of increasing not only the performance ceiling, but also improving the dynamics and the enjoyment behind the wheel, so big kudos to him. But while I do think this is the most compelling example of a GR Corolla that I have ever driven, the main issue I have is the price, because that's $60,000 when you account for both the car and mods. But there are still limitations here. Thankfully, the biggest limitation, that being the engine and center diff overheating, they have been addressed here, and the owner Chris, who has recently been tracking this, can confirm there's no longer center coupling overheating anymore. The two main rivals you're likely considering would be the Civic Type R / Integra Type S, and also the Golf R. Now with the Golf, you can't get a manual, but you do have a more sophisticated all-wheel drive system and a greater level of performance, at least stock versus stock. It also feels more refined, and it does have a nicer interior. And both the Civic and Integra are going to give you the highest performance ceiling stock out of the three, but there you only have front-wheel drive, and you lose out on the benefits of an all-wheel drive system. So if you want all-wheel drive and a manual transmission, you are stuck with the GR Corolla. But in terms of driver enjoyment, I think many would argue that out of the three stock, the Civic and the Integra are the best. I'd say that is debatable, but I have driven some modified Civics that are phenomenal to drive. And they don't require as much money and investment in mods to overcome their limitations. Big shout out to the owner Chris, as well as Jack from Savage Geese. If you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalandcars.com. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you all in the next one.